So, the original authors, I mean, if translation rights are going down, original authors that before digital were very convenient, because of course even for a Greek publisher to have your original author is always better, but now they are essential. You cannot make a business based on translating rights and publishing books. Like, for example, Planeta in Spain, most of their business, and Norma in Colombia, most of their business is translation rights of big US titles into Spanish, and that's a business that will disappear in 5 to 10 years. I'm trying to give you the future of publishing. Doesn't mean tomorrow, but it's this kind of thing. So it's very important that we understand that if the competitive advantage was the distribution capacity, the publisher were general, but now if it's digital marketing, it's specialized. Of course, you can have big companies if they are specialized in several niches, but they have to be a specialist in each niche. So they cannot grow just by adding things. They have to grow by going vertical, and that's why there is this expression of vertical for each segment of the business. Okay, so digital arrives. The funny thing is that digital is audiovisual, so what we are really seeing now in the e-books is nothing compared to what we'll see. And this is important because remember that when the monks changed from this fancy parchment with a lot of nice small drawings in color, and they moved into a print paper with black ink that was in their hands, and they said, this is dirty. I mean, really, our books were smelling much better, and this is what we are seeing now. People say, oh, the smell of a paper book compared to that. But you have to understand what's the real change. So the real change in the world of cinema was not going from the let's say the sound and the color of the theatre or the circus to black, dumb cinema. You could not hear anything. You need this screen and subtitles to explain what was happening. But of course, the big change was that you didn't need the actors to be there in front of you repeating, so it was much easier and cheaper to distribute it. And this is what is happening in digital. It has always happened the same thing. First it goes black and white, then it goes audiovisual. So we will have books that are audiovisual. But the funny thing is that they will be more interactive. Up to now, we have only a book that is written by an author, and you read it, and you get some feelings, you get something, you enjoy it. That's all. Perhaps you go to a reading club and you exchange views with other people, but it's not anymore, it's not nothing else than just reading the book and a personal experience that you can share it on a physical world. But this is changing. Now the people interact in Facebook and Twitter, and they want to be aware of what's going on with other people, and the books will be interactive. I mean, you want to write your comments, read the comments of somebody else, you want to highlight, you want to decide if the book is going to move this way or that way, and so on. And that's why reading in libraries that allow you to do this kind of highlighting and comments and exchanging it will be very important. So my point is that they will be read in libraries, and I will explain later more why, but I want to give you the idea. First, because the audiovisual weighs more. It's better to read in the club, because you can download it to your reader, but it really will weigh a lot. And if you want to exchange views with other guys, you really need to be connected to internet anyhow. So mainly, it will not be so important to download it. now you can have, with paper books, you can have a nice shelf at home and show off that you have read a lot, or at least enjoy the beauty of the books. But having 200 books or 2,000 books in your reader, it just takes a space. Chances that you will be reading the same book are very, very slim. And especially because the books will be updated very often. It's not only that the comments of other people will really make it more relevant, and you want to have those comments, but also because it's so cheap to update the book. Now, if it's digital, that publishers will start updating, or authors will start updating it every 6 months or every year. So you don't want to have a copy that is 3 years ago. You could say, oh, but novels don't change. Well, I'm talking about business books. I'm talking about business books. And also, the books are read on the go. Sometimes you read it in your computer, or you read it in your tablet because you are in your bed, but sometimes you read something in the phone. So, you cannot have the same books with your comments in so many different things, so it's better to be in the cloud. So my assumption is that we will be moving more and more books to digital libraries. But this interaction is better within similar interest groups. So that's why you will be moving to a specialized libraries. Right? So it's not only a digital library that has everything, all the books in the world, but going to a specialized library. A specialized library will not be only a subset of a total library. It's not that the total library will have 3 million titles and a specialized library will have 30,000. It's not that. A specialized library, besides that, will have a special content related to that kind of public, like in the case of business books, you will have perhaps video about business things, it will have case studies, it will have reports from investment banks, newsletters from consulting companies, government statistics. It's almost impossible for anyone making a library of the whole knowledge, having everything there. And no, I mean, so probably it will be specialized. It's like, do you go to the same place if you are a fan of golf and if you are a fan of chess? No, I mean, there are chess clubs and golf clubs are at least 30 minutes away because they need a bigger space, and you go there for, it takes half an hour to go there, but then you are there for 4 hours, so it makes sense. But perhaps to have a coffee or to play cards with your friends, you just go to a place that is nearby, that is small and cozy, and you meet the same people on Tuesdays or the third Friday, whatever. So you don't have a club that serves the needs of everything. So you will not have a library that serves the needs of everyone. So we are talking about the specialized libraries that will be a subset of the books, plus additional content, plus special tools. Special tools that are useful for that kind of readers. Like, for example, in the business sector, you can have what we call here sign-off on compliance procedures. Imagine that the bank requires all their employees to read that the policy to sell shares is the following, and the people have to fill this small survey to recognize as if they are savvy investors or not. If not, you cannot sell them shares and whatever. And the bank wants the people to say, I have read it. Now they can do it. I mean, they can give them a piece of paper and ask them sign. But now they can do it in digital. If there is a procedure that says, okay, I check that you have read it, and you sign it, all digital. But perhaps you don't want to have that in a library that caters to other kind of people, where the secrecy of what you are reading is very important, because it's exactly the opposite. But back to the other point, if you have a library for children in the school, you need a teacher probably being able to check if each pupil has really read the book or not, or they have read only the first 2 pages. They don't need to ask the student, oh, have you read it? No, they know. Each day they could know, you have read 2 pages, 4 pages. You could say, oh, but the child could flip the pages. It's amazing the power that Blue Bottle has to identify if you are actually reading it or not. Because there are certain patterns of changing the screens and things like this that you cannot repeat unless you are actually, I mean, you can be there reading but not reading, but I mean, it really, the rhythm is such that you can say if that person has looked at it or not. In fact, you can even say how intelligent is the person because how quick they read. And if there is a mistake in 1 page, or you force a mistake in 1 page, and that person is spotting the mistake and thinking, oh, what's this? This is wrong. Okay? It takes 20 seconds more than the normal person that will just jump. It's really incredible. I mean, it's almost scary. But my point is, different tools for different kind of readers will drive the libraries to be specialized. It's not only the basic content, but the special content and the special tools. Why readers will prefer the subscription model to purchasing? And again, it will not be all the readers, but why many readers will prefer subscription? Well, first, it's less expensive. You don't need to pay the full price. I mean, it's less expensive to have the right to read the book during a month than to own that book for all your life. Well, you really just want to read that book for a month. In fact, in business books, the average reading time is 30 minutes because you don't, 30 minutes a month, because you don't read books, you're just looking for information. I don't know, perhaps you are thinking about how many cash registers you need in a supermarket, that you want to know a little bit of the theory of the retail theory or game theory. You just read a little bit to have an idea of what you need, or you want to fire someone, or you want to hire someone, what are the questions I could ask someone, and then you look at advice on how to hire them. So, to pay for what you consume. Universities and companies that perhaps will be the ones paying those fees can monitor the use and expense of the readers. Of course, we will not be allow the companies to know what the employees are reading, like if they are reading a book, how to treat a boss that is stupid. You don't want the company to know that that person is reading that book, right? But they can always say, oh, those books are for a sign-off procedure, and then the company is checking. I mean, you need to have some kind of warning and system so that people know if they are being monitored or not, but at least the total usage can be monitored. So the company is entitled to say, okay, how many people have read, I mean, how many minutes, or how Peter Jones has used this or not, and how often has he used it.